Okay, so how are we all paying for stuff these days? I mean, cash, credit, debit, those are like the old faithfuls.
Yeah, the classics.
But now we've got buy now, pay later. It's like it's everywhere. What's the deal with that? And how does it all fit in with, inflation and everything else that's happening?
Right.
So we're going to unpack all of that. We've got earnings calls, we've got market analysis.
They did everything.
Yeah, even some stuff about sovereign wealth funds.
Oh, yeah.
And believe it or not, a little bit of Elon Musk on taxes.
He always has something to say.
Always. So to kick things off, let's talk about Affirm.
Okay.
They just had a killer second quarter. Profits are up, their stock is soaring, and the CEO, well, he's feeling pretty good about the future.
Yeah, and you know what I think is interesting? It's not just that they're competing with credit cards. It's that their CEO said they're taking market share from cash.
Really? From cash?
Yeah, from cash, which is a pretty big statement.
Wow.
It seems like it points to a real shift in how people are thinking about spending and debt, especially younger generations.
Interesting.
He even predicts that buy now, pay later is going to be built into debit cards, like directly into them.
Debit cards with a pay later option. Wow, that is something else. I mean, would that just tempt people to overspend even more,
Yeah.
even though it's linked to their checking account?
Yeah, it makes you wonder if this is really the death of the credit card, like some people are saying.
Or is that, a little overblown?
Yeah. What do you think?
I mean, it's hard to say for sure, but buy now, pay later is definitely shaking things up.
It is.
And it seems to appeal to people who are, I don't know, maybe a little wary of credit card debt, but they still want options, you know? Like Affirm, they're really positioning themselves as the more transparent alternative.
Right.
No hidden fees, clear payment schedules.
Right.
That seems to really connect with people, especially those who are, tech savvy and comfortable with managing their money online.
Yeah.
So Affirm is painting a pretty positive picture,
Right.
but let's be real, there's a lot of economic anxiety out there right now.
For sure.
I mean, inflation, tariffs, all that stuff.
Yeah, but amidst all that, the CEO of Affirm, he says that the U.S. consumer is actually doing pretty well.
Really?
Yeah.
What makes him say that?
Well, he looks at spending patterns.
Oh, okay.
And he even says that buy now, pay later is like an antidote to inflation.
Oh, how so?
Well, he says it helps people manage their cash flow so they can buy things they might have put off because prices are rising.
Interesting take. But, not everyone's quite so optimistic.
Yeah.
We've got some market analysis that shows consumer sentiment is dipping, and you know what's driving that.
What?
The same worries about tariffs and inflation. For example, Amazon mentioned that they're facing capacity issues in their cloud computing division.
Oh, really?
Because the costs of hardware and energy are going up.
Wow.
And then there's Newell Brands, the company that makes Rubbermaid, Yankee Candle, Sharpie, all those things.
I see.
They issued a pretty, gloomy forecast saying that sales are going to decline even more than they expected.
So the economic picture is kind of a mixed bag right now.
Yeah, it seems like it. So, speaking of tech, let's talk about AI for a minute.
Go.
It's like the buzzword everyone's using.
For sure.
But Affirm, they're actually using AI in some pretty practical ways.
Like what?
Like for underwriting loans, customer service, even fraud detection.
Wow.
And what's interesting is they're building their own AI tools instead of using those really expensive third-party ones.
That's a really smart move.
Yeah.
It means they can tailor the AI to exactly what they need.
Exactly.
And it might even give them a competitive edge.
Right. And it makes you think, is AI going to be something that only big companies with lots of resources can use?
Yeah.
Or will smaller businesses be able to get in on the action too?
Right. It's something to watch as AI becomes more and more a part of everything, including our money.
Absolutely.
Right.
All right, buckle up, because now we're going to talk about sovereign wealth funds. So a sovereign wealth fund, basically it's like a giant investment fund that's owned by a government.
Oh.
And the crazy thing is, President Trump actually wanted to explore creating one for the U.S.
Really?
Yeah.
Using what?
Potentially trillions of dollars in government assets.
Wow.
I know, right? And they could invest in, well, pretty much anything.
Interesting.
And you know what? Norway actually has the biggest sovereign wealth fund in the world.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's fueled by their oil revenue.
Makes sense.
They invest in global stocks, real estate, even renewable energy projects.
I see.
So imagine if the U.S. created something similar.
That would be huge.
Right. And here's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
President Trump actually talked about using this potential fund to buy a stake in TikTok.
TikTok, the social media platform.
Yep. TikTok just shows you how wild things can get when you mix politics, money, and tech, right?
Absolutely raises so many
So
questions.
many questions.
Like, what would a U.S. sovereign wealth fund invest in?
Hmm.
Would it be domestic, global? And what about conflicts of interest,
Right.
especially with that TikTok idea?
Yeah, it's not just about the money, it's about the power and influence that comes with controlling a massive fund like that.
Right.
All right, let's lighten things up a bit and talk about something we can all relate to. Taxes.
Okay.
So Elon Musk, never one to shy away from controversy, tweeted about the IRS's free file program,
Mm-hmm.
which got me thinking, why is the U.S. tax system so darn complicated?
I know, it's a nightmare.
Filing taxes shouldn't be like deciphering ancient hieroglyphics.
Right.
So, countries like Sweden and the UK, they've got these much simpler systems.
That do, yeah.
Simpler processes, more accurate withholdings, and they don't rely so heavily on deductions and credits.
Which, those deductions and credits are supposed to help, but they just make things more complicated.
They do. There have been efforts to streamline things like the expanded standard deduction and the IRS's direct file program, but there's still a long way to go. What about you? Do you find filing taxes stressful?
Oh, absolutely. Even with those changes, there are just so many forms and rules and exceptions, it's overwhelming.
It really is. It makes you wonder, is there a way to make it fair and simple,
Yeah, good balance.
Yeah. So let's zoom out for a second and look at the global picture, because buy now, pay later, it's not just a U.S. thing.
It's everywhere.
Yeah, it's catching on all over the world. In some countries where credit cards aren't as common, buy now, pay later has already grabbed a huge chunk of the market, like 20% in some places.
Wow.
It's crazy, right?
It is. It's really interesting how different countries are adapting to it.
Yeah, I mean, in some cultures, there might be this, this resistance to credit card debt.
Right.
So buy now, pay later feels like a better option.
Yeah.
And in other places, it might be driven by, a younger generation that's really tech savvy.
Right.
And they're more comfortable with these new ways of handling their money.
Yeah, it's like a global experiment in how people spend money.
It really is. And as buy now, pay later grows, it's going to bump up against all these different financial systems, regulations, cultural norms.
For sure.
It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
Absolutely. It raises questions about the future of banks, how we pay for things, and whether things will really change on a global scale.
It's a lot to think about. And speaking of global stuff, let's talk about tariffs and trade wars.
Okay.
They've been all over the news lately.
Yeah.
We talked about how they're impacting consumer sentiment.
Right.
But there's a bigger story here. It seems like President Trump was really into using tariffs as a way to, level the playing field and protect American businesses.
Yeah, the America First thing.
Right. But the tricky part is, how do you protect those domestic industries without causing a bunch of unintended consequences?
Right, because tariffs can make prices go up for consumers.
Exactly.
They can mess with those global supply chains.
Yeah.
And other countries might retaliate.
Totally. It's like a high-stakes game with a lot riding on it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's not just about the numbers.
No.
All this talk about trade wars and tariffs can make people feel uncertain, even scared.
Definitely.
So they hold back on spending and investing.
Exactly. It's like this psychological effect.
Yeah, consumer confidence is a really powerful force in the economy.
Right.
When people feel good and secure, they spend more, which helps the economy grow.
Exactly. But when there's uncertainty, things slow down.
So it's all connected.
It is. It really is. It's this delicate balance between what the government decides to do, how the markets react, and how consumers are feeling.
And it's all playing out on this global stage with ripple effects everywhere.
Exactly. It really underscores how interconnected the global economy is.
For sure.
What happens in one country can impact everyone.
Definitely.
It highlights the need for cooperation and understanding all those complex forces at play.
Absolutely. So speaking of global forces, maybe we should shift our attention to a region that's often overlooked, but it's gaining more and more influence.
Which region is that?
Southeast Asia.
Ah, okay.
They're experiencing rapid economic growth, a growing middle class, and a boom in technology and innovation.
Wow, that's amazing.
And what's really fascinating about Southeast Asia is its diversity.
In what way?
Well, you've got all these different countries at different stages of development, each with its own strengths and challenges.
I see.
But collectively, the region is becoming a major player in the global economy.
That's incredible.
And it's not just about manufacturing anymore.
No.
No, Southeast Asia is becoming a hub for tech startups, e-commerce, and digital finance.
Wow.
You've got companies like Grab and Gojek revolutionizing transportation and logistics.
I've heard of those.
And then you've got fintech companies providing financial services to people who haven't had access before.
That's amazing.
It's a prime example of how technology can break down traditional barriers and drive economic growth.
Especially in those emerging markets.
Exactly.
And that creates opportunities for investors who are looking to tap into that potential.
Right.
And investors are taking notice. Southeast Asia is attracting more and more foreign investment, especially in areas like technology, infrastructure, and consumer goods.
Yeah, it's like a magnet for capital looking for growth.
It really is. And all that investment is fueling more economic expansion, creating jobs, and raising living standards.
It's a positive feedback loop that's transforming the region.
It sounds like it. But of course, rapid growth comes with its own set of challenges.
Right, like infrastructure constraints, environmental concerns, and social inequality.
Yeah, those are all important issues to address.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's crucial for governments and businesses to manage these challenges effectively to make sure that development is sustainable and benefits everyone.
I agree. So let's bring it back to the U.S. for a moment and talk about something that's been on everyone's mind lately. Inflation.
Yeah, it's like a monster lurking in the shadows.
I know, right? Threatening to eat away at our purchasing power and destabilize the economy.
Exactly.
So what's driving all this inflation? It seems like there are a lot of factors at play.
Well, we've got those supply chain disruptions, rising energy prices, government spending policies, and even just what people expect to happen with prices.
It's all connected.
Yeah, and when prices climb too quickly, it can create a spiral effect.
Like wages going up to keep up with prices, which pushes prices up even more.
Exactly, those dreaded wage price spirals.
And that can lead to economic instability.
For sure.
And it's not just about the numbers, is it? It's
No.
that psychological impact, too.
Right.
When you see prices going up everywhere, you look at the grocery store, the gas station, it's just this constant reminder that things are getting more expensive.
And that can create a sense of anxiety and erode confidence in the economy.
Exactly. So what can we do about it? How do we navigate this inflationary landscape?
Well, it requires a deep understanding of how all those pieces fit together, those policy decisions, market reactions, and consumer sentiment.
It's a complex puzzle.
It is.
But understanding those connections can help us make more informed decisions.
Absolutely. So speaking of informed decisions, let's talk about investing. Because in this uncertain and volatile economic climate, investing can feel a bit like navigating a minefield.
It can be scary,
It can.
especially with all the market fluctuations, geopolitical events, and those unexpected economic shocks that can hit you out of nowhere.
Yeah, all those things can impact your investment returns.
It can be overwhelming.
But it's not all doom and gloom.
Okay, that's good to hear.
Even in challenging times, there are opportunities for investors who are patient, disciplined, and strategic.
So what's the key to navigating those choppy waters?
Well, diversifying your portfolio is crucial.
Right. Don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Exactly. And it's important to do your research and consider your investment goals and your risk tolerance.
That makes sense.
And of course, staying informed about those economic trends and market developments.
Which is what we're trying to do here today.
Exactly.
And, investing isn't just about picking stocks or chasing the latest hot trends. It's about building a solid financial foundation for the future, achieving your financial goals, and securing your long-term well-being.
Absolutely.
And speaking of values, let's talk about something that's becoming increasingly important to investors. ESG.
Ah, yes. Environmental, social, and governance factors.
It's not just about maximizing profits anymore.
Right.
It's about investing in companies that are making a positive impact on the world.
It's about aligning your investments with your values
Exactly.
and creating a more sustainable and equitable future.
And it's getting a lot of traction, right?
It is.
More and more investors are demanding that companies prioritize ESG factors.
Yeah,
And businesses are starting to listen.
they are.
They're incorporating these considerations into their operations and decision-making processes.
It's a win-win situation.
How so?
Investors feel good about supporting companies that are doing good in the world,
Yeah,
and businesses benefit from having a better reputation,
right.
less risk, and they can create more value in the long term.
It's about recognizing that investing isn't just about financial returns, it's about creating a better future for everyone.
Absolutely.
Okay, now let's dive into something that's been generating a lot of buzz lately. Cryptocurrency.
Ah, yes, the digital gold rush.
People are scrambling to invest in Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all these other digital assets.
It's a fascinating and rapidly evolving space.
It really is.
Yeah.
So, for those who might not be familiar, can you explain what cryptocurrency is?
Sure, it's basically a digital form of currency that uses cryptography for security.
Okay.
And it's decentralized, which means it's not controlled by any government or financial institution.
So it's like its own little world.
In a way, yes.
And it has the potential to disrupt those traditional financial systems.
It does.
Which is why it's captivated so many investors and tech enthusiasts.
Absolutely.
But it's also incredibly volatile and speculative.
Right. The value of cryptocurrencies can swing wildly.
I've seen that.
And there are risks involved like security breaches,
Right.
regulatory uncertainty, and even scams.
So investors need to approach cryptocurrency with caution.
Definitely.
Do your research and understand the risks before you jump in.
Absolutely.
And it's important to stay informed about those regulatory developments and industry trends because things are changing so quickly.
Yeah, it's a constantly evolving space.
And remember, cryptocurrency is just one piece of the puzzle.
Right.
It's important to consider how it fits into your overall investment strategy and financial goals.
Exactly.
It's about taking a holistic view of your finances and understanding the risks and opportunities associated with different asset classes.
And making choices that align with your individual circumstances and objectives.
Now, let's zoom in on a specific aspect of cryptocurrency that's been getting a lot of attention lately.
Yeah.
NFTs.
Ah, yes. Non-fungible tokens.
They're like digital collectibles.
Exactly.
Unique, verifiable assets that represent ownership of digital or physical items.
It's like owning a piece of the digital world.
Right. And people are buying and selling NFTs for crazy amounts of money. It's created this whole new ecosystem of creators, collectors, and investors.
It has.
So what's the big deal with NFTs? Why are they so popular?
Well, they introduced this concept of scarcity and ownership into the digital realm.
Because digital files can be easily copied. Right.
Exactly.
But an NFT is unique and can't be replicated.
Right.
So it's like owning the original of something, even if it's digital.
Yeah, and they have the potential to revolutionize industries like art, music, gaming, and even real estate.
That's wild.
But it's still early days.
Okay.
There are questions about whether NFTs will last, whether there might be bubbles,
Right.
and even the environmental impact of all the energy it takes to create them.
Yeah, that's an important consideration.
It is, but it's definitely a trend to watch.
For sure. It's changing how we think about ownership and value in the digital age.
Okay, and speaking of digital innovation, have you heard much about the metaverse?
The metaverse. Yeah, it sounds like something out of a science fiction movie.
A little bit, yeah. It's basically a virtual world where people can interact, work, play, and even buy and sell digital assets.
Like a parallel universe.
Exactly.
And companies like Facebook, Microsoft, and NVIDIA are pouring billions into developing it.
They are.
It's attracting a lot of attention from investors and entrepreneurs.
Because it has the potential to transform how we live, work, and interact.
Wow.
It blurs the lines between the physical and digital worlds.
That's amazing.
But again, it's still early days.
Okay.
There are a lot of questions about how it will evolve and what the implications are.
I can imagine.
But it's a compelling vision of the future.
It is.
It makes us think about what reality really is.
Right.
The ethics of virtual worlds. And the potential for new economic and social systems to emerge.
It's like we're stepping into a whole new frontier.
We are.
And it's exciting to think about how it might reshape our lives in the years to come.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But for now, let's bring it back down to earth and talk about something that's fundamental to all of these trends and innovations. Education.
Education is definitely the key.
It is.
It empowers individuals, drives innovation, and fosters economic growth.
In today's knowledge-based economy, access to quality education is essential for success.
And it's not just about traditional schooling anymore, is it?
No, not at all.
It's about lifelong learning, online courses, skills development programs.
Exactly.
People need to adapt to the changing job market and acquire new skills throughout their careers.
It's about embracing a mindset of continuous learning,
I like that.
seeking out new knowledge and experiences.
And staying ahead of the curve in a world that's constantly evolving.
And education is not just about individual success.
Right.
It's also crucial for societal progress.
How so?
It promotes critical thinking, fosters civic engagement,
Yeah.
and empowers individuals to contribute to their communities and the world at large.
It's about recognizing that education benefits everyone.
Exactly.
Investing in education is investing in the future.
and creating a more informed, engaged, and prosperous society.
Okay, now let's talk about something that's closely tied to education. Innovation.
Innovation is the engine of progress.
It is.
It drives economic growth, creates jobs, and improves our lives in countless ways.
Absolutely. And innovation isn't just about having those big, groundbreaking ideas.
Right.
It's about fostering a culture of creativity, experimentation, and collaboration.
Exactly.
It's about encouraging people to think differently, challenge the status quo, and take risks.
It's about creating an environment where failure is seen as a learning opportunity.
And where different perspectives are valued.
Absolutely. Because innovation can come from anyone, anywhere, at any time.
It can, and it's not limited to technology.
No, not at all.
Innovation can happen in any field: healthcare, education, business, government.
It's about finding new solutions to old problems and making the world a better place.
Now let's talk about something that's essential for our well-being, but it's often overlooked. Mental health.
Mental health is just as important as physical health. It affects how we think, feel, and behave.
Absolutely. And in today's world, with all the demands and stress, taking care of our mental well-being is crucial.
It is.
And I think we need to talk about it more openly and honestly.
Definitely.
There's still so much stigma and shame surrounding mental health issues.
It prevents people from seeking help.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We need to create a culture where people feel comfortable talking about their mental health and asking for help when they need it.
Absolutely. And it's also important to invest in mental health resources and make them accessible to everyone.
And it's not just about treating mental illness.
Right.
It's about promoting mental well-being for everyone.
Exactly.
Finding ways to manage stress, build resilience, and cultivate positive emotions.
It's about recognizing that mental health is a journey, not a destination.
I love that analogy.
It's about taking care of ourselves, supporting each other, and creating a world where everyone can thrive.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk about something that's fundamental to human connection: relationships.
Relationships are the bedrock of human society.
They are.
They provide us with love, support, belonging, a sense of purpose.
And healthy relationships can really enhance our well-being, both physically and mentally.
They can.
But unhealthy relationships can have a negative impact.
For sure.
So how do we build and maintain strong, healthy relationships?
It takes effort.
Right.
It's about communication, empathy, compromise.
And a willingness to invest time and energy in those connections.
Exactly. It's a two-way street.
Right.
It requires mutual respect, understanding, and working through those inevitable challenges together.
And it's not just romantic relationships.
No.
It's all kinds of relationships: family, friends, colleagues, even our communities.
All those connections contribute to our sense of belonging and well-being.
Now, let's talk about leadership.
Okay.
In today's world, which is, increasingly complex and demanding, strong leadership is more important than ever.
It is.
So what makes a great leader?
I think it's about inspiring others, setting a vision, empowering people to reach their full potential.
It's not about being bossy or controlling.
No, not at all.
It's about collaboration, empathy, and a commitment to serving others.
And great leaders come in all shapes and sizes.
They do.
They don't necessarily have fancy titles or positions of authority.
It's about stepping up, taking initiative, and inspiring others to action.
Exactly.
And leadership is something that can be developed, right?
It can.
It's about identifying your strengths, honing your skills, and stepping outside your comfort zone.
And it's not just about leading others.
Right.
It's also about leading yourself.
Self-awareness, self-discipline, a commitment to personal growth.
It all starts from within.
It does. Now let's talk about something that's closely tied to leadership: purpose.
Purpose is about finding what truly matters to you,
It is.
what gives your life meaning,
Mhm.
and how you can use your talents and passions to make a positive impact.
It's about aligning your actions with your values and living a life that feels authentic.
Exactly.
But finding your purpose isn't always easy, is it?
No, it can be a journey.
It involves exploration, experimentation, setbacks, adjustments.
It's about being open to new experiences,
Yeah.
reflecting on what brings you joy.
And being willing to change course along the way.
And it's not always about grand gestures.
Right.
You can find purpose in those everyday moments, in those small acts of kindness.
It's about making a positive difference, however big or small.
So let's talk about creativity.
Okay.
In a world that's increasingly driven by technology and automation, being able to think creatively is becoming even more important.
It is.
Creativity is about generating new ideas,
Mhm.
finding innovative solutions.
And expressing ourselves in unique and meaningful ways.
It's a fundamental human capacity that allows us to adapt, evolve, and create.
And it's not just about being artistic.
Right.
No, not at all. It can be applied to anything.
You could think
Science, engineering, business, education.
it's about finding new approaches to challenges,
Mm-hmm.
solving problems in innovative ways.
And making the world a better place.
Exactly. And it's not about having all the answers right away or being perfect.
Creativity is often messy. It is.
It's about trying things out
Yeah.
and embracing those mistakes as opportunities to learn.
It's about allowing yourself to play, experiment, and think outside the box.
Now let's talk about something that's fundamental to well-being: happiness.
Happiness.
In a world that often prioritizes achievement and material success, it's easy to forget about what really matters: living a joyful and fulfilling life.
Absolutely.
So, what is happiness? How do we find it?
It's a complex concept,
It is.
but I think at its core, it's about experiencing positive emotions, feeling connected to others, and living a life that's aligned with your values.
It sounds simple, but it's not always easy, is it?
No, it's not.
So how do we cultivate happiness?
It's about focusing on what brings you joy, practicing gratitude, and building those meaningful relationships.
It's an inside job.
It is.
It's not about external circumstances or possessions,
No.
and it's not about being happy all the time.
Life is full of ups and downs.
It is.
It's about developing resilience, coping skills, and a positive outlook so we can navigate those challenges and come out stronger on the other side.
Exactly.
Okay, let's talk about communication.
Communication is essential.
It is.
It's the foundation of human connection.
It allows us to share ideas, build relationships, resolve conflicts, and create positive change.
Absolutely.
And effective communication goes beyond just words, right?
It does.
It's about those nonverbal cues, body language, tone of voice, and our ability to listen and empathize.
It's a two-way street.
It is.
It requires mutual respect, understanding, and a willingness to bridge those differences.
And it's not just about getting our point across.
No.
It's about building trust, fostering collaboration, and creating a more harmonious and productive world.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's the key to unlocking human potential and creating a world where we can understand each other, work together, and build a better future for all.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Okay, let's shift gears a bit and talk about something that's becoming increasingly important in today's fast-paced world. Mindfulness. Being present, paying attention to the moment, and cultivating a sense of awareness and acceptance.
Mindfulness is a powerful tool. It can really help with managing stress, reducing anxiety, and improving overall well-being.
It's about slowing down, tuning into our thoughts and feelings, and just observing the world around us without judgment.
Right.
But it's not about emptying our minds or trying to reach some sort of blissful state.
No, not at all.
It's about accepting our thoughts and emotions as they come and go without getting swept away by them.
It's about developing that non-judgmental awareness so we can respond to challenges with more clarity, compassion, and resilience.
I like that. And mindfulness isn't just about meditation or those formal practices, right?
No, definitely not.
It's something we can weave into our daily lives, whether it's paying attention to our breath, savoring a meal, or just noticing the sensations in our body as we move through the world.
It's about cultivating a sense of presence in those everyday moments.
So we can appreciate the simple things.
Right, and connect more deeply with ourselves and the world around us.
Okay, let's talk about something that's essential for both personal and professional growth. Goals.
Goals.
Setting goals gives us direction, focus, a sense of purpose. It helps us prioritize our time and stay motivated as we work towards something meaningful.
Goal setting is a powerful tool. It allows us to create a roadmap for the future, identify what we want to achieve, and break those big tasks into smaller, more manageable steps.
And it's not just about writing down what we want to achieve, right?
No.
There's a bit more to it than that.
Right. It's about setting SMART goals.
SMART goals.
Yes, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound.
I see.
That helps us stay focused, track our progress, and celebrate our successes along the way.
So it's about creating a plan that's ambitious, but also realistic.
Right.
Exactly.
And recognizing that setbacks and adjustments are part of the process.
And it's important to make sure our goals align with our values.
Yes. Make sure you're striving for something that's truly meaningful.
But even with the best plan, achieving our goals isn't always easy, is it?
No, not always.
It takes dedication, perseverance, and stepping outside of our comfort zone.
But that feeling of accomplishment when you reach a goal, it's worth it.
It is. It really is. Okay, let's talk about something that's essential for growth, both personally and professionally. Feedback.
Feedback?
Receiving feedback, both positive and constructive, can help us identify our strengths and areas for improvement.
It's a gift.
It is. It helps us grow and develop as individuals.
It gives us insights into how others see us and how we can improve.
And it's about being open to different perspectives, even if it's not always easy to hear.
Absolutely.
Right.
And you know what?
Isn't it?
Seeking out feedback instead of just waiting for it can actually accelerate our growth.
How so?
It shows that you're committed to learning and development,
Right.
and that you're open to different points of view.
So how can we give feedback effectively?
Well, it's important to be specific, constructive, and focus on behaviors, not personalities.
So don't say you're lazy, but maybe I noticed that the report was late.
Exactly. And create a safe and supportive environment.
Where people feel comfortable sharing their thoughts and ideas.
It's a two-way street.
It is.
Both the giver and the receiver need to be open, honest, and respectful.
Okay, let's talk about empathy.
Empathy.
It's the ability to understand and share the feelings of others, putting ourselves in their shoes and seeing the world from their perspective.
Empathy is such a powerful force.
It is.
It allows us to connect on a deeper level, build stronger relationships.
And create a more compassionate world.
And empathy isn't about agreeing with someone or condoning their actions.
Right.
It's about acknowledging their feelings and experiences.
Even if we don't understand or agree with them.
Exactly.
Everyone has their own story,
They do.
their own struggles and triumphs.
It's about approaching others with curiosity, compassion, and a willingness to listen and learn.
And empathy is more than just feeling sorry for someone.
It is
It's about taking action to help.
to alleviate suffering and make their lives better.
Okay, let's switch gears and talk about something that can be a bit scary. Failure. In a culture that often celebrates success and perfection, failure can feel like a personal setback or even a sign of weakness.
But failure is a part of life.
It is.
It's through our mistakes that we learn and grow.
And develop resilience.
Exactly.
So it's not about avoiding failure at all costs.
No, it's about taking risks, stepping outside our comfort zones, and being willing to experiment.
Because failure is not the opposite of success.
It's a stepping stone.
I love that. So instead of fearing failure, we should embrace it as a necessary part of growth.
Exactly.
Now let's talk about self-awareness, understanding our thoughts, feelings, motivations, and behaviors. Seeing ourselves clearly, both the good and the not so good.
Self-awareness is so important. It's the foundation of emotional intelligence. It helps us manage our emotions, build relationships, make good decisions, and achieve our goals.
It's about recognizing our patterns, our triggers, our blind spots.
Right.
But how do we get better at it? It's not like it just happens overnight.
No, it takes effort. It's about paying attention to your thoughts and feelings, reflecting on your experiences, and even seeking feedback from others. That can be tough sometimes,
It can.
but it's so valuable. And be honest with yourself, even when it's uncomfortable.
Honesty is key. So we're becoming more self-aware. We're embracing failure as a part of growth.
Yeah.
It all leads to self-care, right?
Self-care is essential.
It is.
Taking care of yourself physically, mentally, emotionally.
Making choices that support us and nourish us.
It's not selfish.
Yo.
It's essential for well-being. You can't pour from an empty cup.
Exactly. And self-care looks different for everyone, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's about finding what works for you, whether it's getting enough sleep, eating healthy foods, exercising, spending time in nature, practicing mindfulness, pursuing creative endeavors, or simply taking some time to relax and recharge.
It's about making choices that support our well-being, mind, body, and spirit. Okay, let's talk about gratitude.
Gratitude.
Appreciating the good things in life, big and small, and focusing on what we have rather than what we lack.
Gratitude is so powerful.
It is.
It can really change your whole perspective.
From scarcity to abundance.
Yes, from negativity to positivity, from discontentment to contentment.
It's about savoring the present moment
Yeah.
and appreciating all those good things.
And it doesn't have to be complicated.
No.
No, it could be as simple as keeping a gratitude journal, telling someone you appreciate them, or just taking a few moments each day to think about the good things in your life.
It's about making it a habit.
Exactly. Cultivating a mindset of appreciation.
Recognizing the good that's already there.
Finding joy in the simple things in those everyday moments.
And gratitude isn't just about feeling good.
Yeah.
It actually has a real impact on our well-being.
Studies have shown that practicing gratitude can reduce stress, improve sleep, boost your immune system, and increase happiness.
That's pretty amazing. Okay, let's talk about passion, that fire in the belly that drives us.
Passion is a powerful force. It ignites our creativity, fuels our determination, and keeps us going even when things get tough.
It's about finding that thing that really lights you up,
Right.
makes you feel alive.
And that you're willing to put your time and energy into.
But is passion something we're just born with?
I don't think so. I think it can be discovered, cultivated, even reignited
So how do we do that?
by exploring our interests, Trying new things, being open to new experiences.
Be adventurous. Follow your curiosity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Listen to your inner voice and see what sparks your interest.
And passion doesn't always have to be about these big ambitions or changing the world,
All
right?
right. You can find passion in those everyday moments, in small acts of creativity, and in the ways we bring joy to the things we do, no matter how big or small.
It's everywhere if we just look for it. Now let's talk about resilience. That ability to bounce back from adversity, cope with challenges, and emerge stronger from tough experiences.
Resilience is so important. And the good news is it's a skill you can develop over time.
So it's not something you're just born with.
No, it's about building your inner strength, developing coping mechanisms, and fostering a positive outlook.
So you can navigate life's ups and downs.
Ex
But it's not about pretending everything's okay or avoiding challenges, is it?
no, definitely not. It's about facing your fears, acknowledging your vulnerabilities, and finding ways to move through those tough times.
Without being completely consumed by them?
Exactly.
So how do we build that resilience? Where do we start?
Well, it's about recognizing that setbacks and failures are part of life. They're actually opportunities for growth.
Challenges become opportunities.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
about reframing your perspective.
And we don't have to go it alone, right?
Definitely not. Building resilience is also about nurturing those supportive relationships, seeking help when you need it, and remembering that you're not alone.
We're all in this together. It's about being part of a community and drawing strength from each other. We can create a culture of resilience where people feel empowered to face challenges, overcome adversity, and thrive in the face of change. Okay, I think it's time we circle back to our initial conversation about the economy and personal finances.
Def-
We've talked about buy now, pay later, the possibility of a U.S. sovereign wealth fund, the increasing role of AI, even Elon Musk's take on taxes. But there's one more thread I want to connect to all of this.
I think I know what you're going to say.
Financial literacy.
Exactly. It's becoming more and more important in today's world.
It is. It's like having this superpower that helps you make good decisions about money
Right.
and navigate this crazy world of finance. It's about feeling in control of your financial life.
And the financial literacy isn't just about understanding complicated financial stuff.
No.
It's about the basics. Budgeting, saving, managing debt, investing
It's about having the knowledge and skills to make good decisions.
that align with your goals and values.
It's like having a financial GPS to guide you.
Exactly. And it's never too early or too late to start learning.
That's true.
There's so many resources out there. Books, websites, podcasts like this one, even financial advisors. They can all help you gain the knowledge and confidence you need.
So let's bring it all together. We've explored these big trends like buy now, pay later, the potential of a U.S. sovereign wealth fund, the role of AI, even Elon Musk and taxes. But it all comes back to you, the listener, and how these trends might impact your financial decisions in the future.
That's the key takeaway. How can you use this information to make good choices that align with your goals, your values, and your overall well-being?
It's something to think about as you navigate your own financial journey.
Absolutely.
And we'd love to hear from you. What resonated with you? What questions do you have? Feel free to reach out and share your thoughts or any questions you might have.
We're always happy to hear from our listeners.
It's amazing how everything we've talked about, from buy now, pay later to sovereign wealth funds, AI, even Elon Musk and taxes, how it all ties together.
It really does show how interconnected everything is.
Yeah, and understanding that, it can really help people make better decisions about their money.
Exactly.
It's like we've been putting together this huge economic puzzle,
A big one.
and we're seeing how all these trends and innovations fit into the big picture.
Each piece has its place.
Okay, so let's shift gears a little bit. We've been talking about all this cool tech and innovation, but it makes me think about those who might get left behind, in this fast-paced digital world.
That's a really important point. As technology keeps advancing, we have to make sure everyone has a chance to be part of the digital economy and benefit from it.
Yeah, we can't leave anyone behind.
We need to tackle issues like digital literacy, access to technology, and the skills gap. Those things can really hold people back.
So it's about creating a more inclusive digital future for everyone.
Exactly. Everyone should have the opportunity to thrive in this rapidly changing world.
Okay, so we've covered a lot today, from buy now, pay later, to sovereign wealth funds, the global economy, you name it. What are some key takeaways for our listeners?
The biggest one, I think, is that understanding these economic trends and how they're all connected is really empowering.
It helps you make better decisions.
about your finances, your career, your investments. It all ties together.
It's about taking control of your financial future and making choices that work for you.
That align with your goals, your values, and what's important to you.
And it's an ongoing process, right?
It is. The world is constantly changing, so staying informed and being able to adapt is key.
And we're all in this together.
Absolutely. We can learn from each other, share ideas, and support each other as we figure it all out.
Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive, here's something to think about. How can you use what we've talked about today to make smarter decisions and build a more secure financial future for yourself?
We hope this episode has given you some valuable insights and maybe even sparked some new ideas. Thanks for joining us for the deep dive.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.